morning, everybody. It's Debbie from the Pickin Coop, and I am out in my garden. I wasn't out here yesterday. I had to go do an herb talk to a wonderful group of ladies. Their organization is POE. They help women educate themselves. So it was really fun. Nice group of ladies. If you're watching, Penny, thank you very much. And so I got that over with. I was a little nervous, but I did a little PowerPoint presentation. It turned out great. I couldn't ask for better. A lot of people asked a lot of questions, and yeah, so it turned out really well. So now we're out in the garden, and I'm going to be tearing out some cucumbers. I don't know if you can see these sunflowers right here, but they make my heart happy every time I see them. So we're going to tear out some cucumbers, some squash. I'm getting everything ready. I've got all my little seedlings in the house, and they're about this high. So they're getting ready to plant in the ground, and then there's some things that I can actually put seeds in the ground for, but I just don't have any room at the end. Go figure. So I'm going to be taking some things out that are kind of spent. So come along. I'm going to do a little harvesting first, see what I have. Things are really starting to slow down now, so I'm going to get what I can and before I tear some things out. I've got this cucumber plant down here that's really yellow, so I'm going to chop him off right at the root. And there is actually a cucumber on him. I'm going to save that. So I'm going to put everything out outside the boxes that is no longer viable. I'm going to say this guy here, we're going to trim him off. Hopefully not by destroying everything else that's in here. Let's see. Yeah, I think even the little baby cucumbers are looking kind of puny on here. So these are all going to go in the compost pile. Now, if they do look like they have a little bit of mildew or mold, you don't want to put them in the compost pile because that can actually spread. These are just drying up. Another cucumber. So we're making room here. I might as well take them all. I think I'm going to, go around the other side and get rid of those ones. These are just my pickling cucumbers. Pull up some of these weeds. Oh, there's that one lone tomato. I don't have the heart to pull him out. All right, let's go back over here. See what we have. Let's go. Oh, another little cucumber. Some of these are not, they're more, you can see it, chicken food. I think I'm just going to take them all out. There. Now we have a little area here, a little space that we can do something with. I am going to trim up these yellow leaves on this squash. I think it's just about spent also. We've still got some little baby crooknecks down in here, so I think I'm going to let that one go. Oh, this one is definitely chicken food. Look at the size of that guy. And he's turning yellow, so that tells me he's not going to be very tasty. Alright, so I think we're good to go there. Maybe trim a little more up on this. We've got our little pumpkins are growing bigger, the little guys I just showed you a couple days ago. So this gives me a good size area, if you can see right here. I am going to brush back all my pine straw because I want to utilize that for whatever I'm planting in here. And once it sprouts up, then we will cover it back up. Excuse me while I pull up my drawers. And I think out of this bed, that's all I can really do right now because the squash is still blooming. Then I've got my acorn squash right on the other side of that over here, as if you can see that. Let's do this. There we go. So I've got the acorn squash right over here, and it's got a few little squashes on it. Get some of these weeds out of here. And I am going to snip off some of these yellow leaves just to get them out of there. So I have, I think there's 1, 2, maybe three little acorn squash out of there. That was my later planting. So we'll let those go a little longer. Okras are still doing okay, so I'm going to leave those. Then over on this side, this way, I'll turn the camera in a minute, I've got a few tomatoes that I'm going to harvest. And then I might take out my buttercup because I don't see any more blooms on my buttercup. Okay, come along. We're going to come right over here and I'll set you right in this bed. So let's do this. The buttercup right here is not really doing anything except for sucking nutrients out of the ground. So I think I'm going to make the executive decision to cut that out of here. I have a feeling though it's helping hold up, yep, some of these tomatoes. Whoopsie. Come here, little fella. I'm going to try to gently put him back up. Because I want to try to get, I leave my tomatoes in, unless they're dying, of course. I leave them in till right before my first frost. Because I want every tomato I could possibly get. So I'm going to cut this guy at the base. I can see next year I'm going to have a bazillion of these tomatillos coming in. I'm going to grab my bucket. Here we go. Okay, so let's see, where else do we have? I think that has a twine wrapped around it. We're going to get this out of here. I think I'll have to get that from the other side. I thought I could do it from there. Okay, so these all go in the compost pile. I've got, these are my Sans Marzanos, and they're kind of funky, but they taste really good, and I've been making sauce out of them and putting them in the freezer if I don't have time to mess with them once they ripen. So I'm going to get a pretty darn good tomato harvest this year, which I'm really impressed with. And I still have more and more tomatoes coming on. I was kind of worried that they had stopped, but we had that little stretch of cooler weather, and I really think that helped a lot. So I'm going to put my pruners back in here. I'm going to grab all the ones that are starting to blush. I have a whole bunch in the house that I need to process. It's all fine and dandy to get all this wonderful stuff on a daily basis, but then you have to you have to do something with it. Like Jessica Sauer says on Roots to Refuge, the burden of abundance. And you plan all year for stuff to grow, 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 and then it all gets ripe at the same time, and which is lovely, but then you have to do something with it. So I give some away, I freeze some, I can some. I really don't like to can a whole lot in the summertime just because it gets hot. I mostly pressure can everything, so my kitchen doesn't get quite as hot as if you were water bathing. Today, I'll probably make a video out of that. I've got these tiny little green grapes. Are about this big, but they are not seedless. So what I've been doing is making jelly, and I used my steam canner last year, and I made grape juice. I didn't add any sugar or anything, and I wish I would have made more. I had my sister come pick some grapes. I don't know that I have that many this year because I cut it back quite a bit, but I think it was good for the plant. It needed that. And I haven't fertilized it as much as I did the year before. But I'll tell you what, I ran out of that grape juice. I did it in pint jars. And Gabby would eat a whole pint of that stuff all on her own. It was so good. And the funniest thing is the juice is kind of a cloudy, clearish, whitish, I guess, opaque color. And then once you can it, it turns pink. So I thought that was interesting because they're a white or green looking grape. And yeah, kind of interesting. All right, I got all the tomatoes I can get from this side, which is quite a few. And then I am going to look down here for some ground cherries, and we discovered that Gabby really likes the ground cherries, which I was pleasantly surprised. I got a couple. I have a couple on my windowsill that I'm saving for seed. These little guys, let me show you what they look like. It's kind of hard to do with my gloves on. I think they're in the tomatillo family. They have a little husk just like that, and you open them up, and there's a little treasure. They taste, when you first bite into them, they taste like pineapple. They're very sweet. And I usually end up eating them. They don't go in the house very often. Ooh, that one was really sweet. These are from my friend Fern over in Shingletown. She was a sweet little gal. She brought them over on her birthday, no less, when I was doing a show over there. And we traded, we bartered. She got some of the cotton bowl covers that I make. I'm going to make mason jar covers for sourdough. And, oh, those are good. And a couple of other things. But, yeah, she brought me 3 beautiful plants. So I was real excited about that. So those are just basically for snacking. I think a lot of them have fallen off in there. And so we're probably going to have some volunteers next year, which I'm not sad about that one single bit. All right, so now we're on the other side of this trellis. And I am going to grab what's left of this buttercup squash. I got at least one, so I can save the seeds from that, and then I can grow them next year. I'm excited to try it. So I'm letting it cure right now, so I can't really do anything with it until it's done curing. And I think I'm going to take my gloves off since I got that spiky little guy out of there. I am going to harvest some tomatillos. I got a few like these guys up here that are ready. And I keep trimming this back. See how they split? Let me show you that real quick. This is one of the purple ones that's grown over to where the green ones are. And they split, and then I take the husk out and just leave it out here, throw it back into the bed for fertilizer. Yeah, that one's kind of mushy. Some of them, yeah. But I've been trimming it back as long as there's not any fruit on it. Like this guy's got some blooms, but I don't really want that there. And because it's, as you can see, I have peppers. You can't really see, sorry. I have peppers down in here, and they're not getting enough sun. So I just keep trimming this back to let more light in. There we go. And it's just crazy. It just keeps blooming, producing. Look at this. So, and I've got about 2 gallons now in my freezer, working on my third. And that's going to be plenty, because I don't make a whole lot of that. I just make like probably about 10 pints of that, maybe 10 to 12. And that's sufficient for what we use it for. Yeah, see, when these are like this, for some reason, they get all weird. So I just get rid of them. So I think that's about all I can really harvest off of that for right now. I'm kind of curious to see if these peppers are starting to snap out of it, but I really... Oh, there is a... Look at this. Pepperoncini. I had a whole bunch in the beginning of the summer, and then these guys got really big and overcrowded them, so... Note to self, do not plant peppers in between your tomatillos, too much shade. Now, I accidentally did the same thing here with my poor little eggplants. They got shaded out. They're starting to bloom now as I hack more of this mustard plant off. This right here got so huge and big, it was like a tree almost. And it overshadowed these little guys. So now they're starting to flourish. I think I still have enough summertime to get some actual eggplants out of there. So next, I'm going to be trimming this guy up because I'm saving every seed I can get my little hands on. So I'm going to do that right now. Alright, so I'm going to show you these up close after I trim these off of here. Yep, you can see what I'm doing. Good. Now, I wait till they start turning kind of a brownish, tannish color. That way it tells me that they're starting to dry. Because remember, I still am using a sprinkler, so I don't want the sprinkler getting these dried limbs wet. Because you're kind of defeating your purpose here. So I just keep trimming them off, but the green ones I leave. Let's get this. And pretty soon, I can take these out of there completely. then we don't have to worry about them overshadowing the eggplants. So I don't know if you can see up close, they're getting brown. And then these little pods, each one of them has about 7 to 10 seeds in them, which is all mustard, which is amazing, absolutely amazing. So I'm going to grab another one over here. Just, you never want to waste an opportunity to grow more food, and that is a wonderful opportunity. That way you know where the seeds came from, what has been put on that plant or not, what the plant has been fed with. So yeah, you'll have a wonderful, trustworthy crop next year. So I think that's all I'm going to hack on that for right now, and then eventually I will be able to take, I think I can actually take this one, cut it down at the base. Now some of this was green, but that's okay. We'll just cut him off of there. It'll dry. And we'll just they'll all dry. And I'm not kidding when I say I want to get every single pod off of this guy that I can get. And at least I got one out of there now. And then I'm just going to chop this up, keep it in my beds. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing here. I'm probably right in your way. And this all goes back into the soil. So you've got seeds for future plants. And then you've got the foliage and the stalks to go back into the earth. So that is an amazing thing right there. Now this one looks like I can cut this one back. I'm getting a little pruner happy here, as if you didn't notice. Let's see, not that one. This one here is the one I want. This one, the stalk, is drying up, so I'm going to cut that off of there. Cut that off of there. Throw that down. I'm taking quite a bit of time on this, sorry, but I want to get every little piece I can. And I want to create sun everywhere I can in these beds for my new seedlings that are going to go out here. And we'll just chop this guy up, add to the soil. This part is already dried up like a cane here. So that's good. I got more of this out of here. Sorry, one more. It's kind of addicting. Okay, we're going to go on to the next project. Okay, I've harvested all my spaghetti squash. I have two that are not quite ready yet. They're starting to turn yellow, but they're not quite there. So I'm going to leave those, but look at this beautiful Anaheim pepper I just got. So I'm going to have quite a bit of produce today. There's a few more on here that aren't quite ready. My little yellow peppers are growing strong. They're not quite ready. Got some more jalapenos that aren't ready, so we're going to leave all those. I keep hoping last year was an excellent pepper year for me, and this year for some reason is not. The ones that I shaded out are totally understandable, but these ones here are not. And I don't know if it's because we've had so much cool weather. That would be my guess. All right, so I do have some tomatoes on this side that I'm going to go ahead and harvest. They're starting to blush. Once they start doing that, I bring them in just so the bugs don't get them and they don't crack, since I do use a sprinkler. I still have some radish pods over here, but they're not quite dry yet, so I don't want to harvest them. And then I'm going to grab over here some tomatoes. Yeah, okay, we're going to come back this way behind me. I got to move my bucket. Look at this though. This bucket is huge. It's full of melons, cucumbers, tomatoes. I'm going to move that guy. And I still have some radish pods in here. I don't know if you can see those. They're not dried up yet, so I'm waiting. That way I'll have more radish seeds. I go through a lot of radish seeds because I plant those several times throughout the year. So, yeah. Oh, here is a wax bean. I just think I have one wax bean plant, and it just keeps giving me beans periodically. I usually only get like one or two. But these are bush beans, I think, and the rest, most everything I planted was bush beans. And when you plant bush beans, I learned this too this year, they put out all their blooms at the same time, so you can harvest a whole bunch, which is handy if you're canning things. And then they just kind of slow down after that. But pole beans will produce all season long. So that's a good thing to know. So if you have enough room and enough trellises to grow those beans up on these poles, you'll have beans all season long. So I think maybe I'm going to plant more. I have pole bean seeds. I think I'm going to plant more next year and see how that goes. Look at what I just spied right here. These are those red noodle beans. And I didn't think I was going to get any. And look at this. I think this one is actually ready to pick. I'm excited about that. These are growing up through my jungle of tomatoes and squash and that kind of stuff. So that's pretty exciting. I might let them go to seed since there's so few of them. You know, I think I will. I'll let them dry on the vine, go to seed, so I can plant these next year. So I will know that these guys need their own area. I just overcrowded everything this year just because I did not have my beds all done at the same time. So lesson learned, but I did get some produce out of it, so that's a good thing. Okay, right in here I have an acorn squash, and some of the foliage is starting to die back. That's one sign that it could be ready. Let's see, the little tendril right above where you can't see the acorn squash, but I am going to test this with my thumbnail. I can't really push it in, so I'm thinking this one might be ready. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick that. I hope I don't regret it, because these guys are absolutely delicious. Oh, that stem is really hard, which is a good sign also. So this is the biggest one I've grown so far. I'm really, really excited about this little acorn squash. They have this little pointed thing that it's very characteristic of an acorn squash. I have baby ones growing in that other bed over there, and those are still growing strong. They're light green, so we know that they're not ready. But this guy is actually ready, so he's going to go in the house to get cured. Then down below here, you probably see it, right there is my butternut. And the same thing with the butternut. I'm going to give it the fingernail test, and we're going to see how that works out. Alright, so I can push my fingernail in him. So I'm going to leave him there. I'm just going to trim off. I don't even know if these leaves go to him or not, because I've got so much stuff in here. Kind of crazy, huh? I'm going to trim these guys off. It's like a jungle in here, I'm telling you. Now I've got some more acorn squash in here, so I don't want to go crazy trimming. Just the things that are not viable. I think that's good for right now. I'm just tickled pink about those red noodle beans, no pun intended. I'm sad that I won't get to try them, to eat them, but okay, we're coming over on this side now. And I want to take a look. Let's see. Down in the very bottom of here. Johnny, look out, bud. Come on. Johnny. Johnny, come on. Good boy. He's my little guard dog out here. He's always. Well, we got something dried up here. Let's see what this is. Oh, it looks like it could be the remnants of my Armenian cucumber. There we go. Let's get it out of here. The less in here, the better. Less chance for mildew and all that other stuff. All the tendrils off these things grab onto whatever they can. There we go. Okay, so there is a little acorn down here. Is there only one? Let's see. I'm going to do the fingernail test. And he's kind of orange on one side. I think he's definitely ready. Oh, look at that guy. I wonder if they kind of turn orange. This part was on the ground, didn't get the sun. Turn orange after a while. I'm not really sure. If you know the answer to that, pop it in the comments, please. I'm running out of room in my bucket. There we go. We're making room now, guys. We've got quite a bit of stuff cut out. Okay, we're going to move farther on down the line here. So we've cleaned this whole area out right here, so we have more room. And I'm going to trim up some of these spent zinnias. Did I mention I love zinnias? Only about 45,000 times. I'm going to take these in the house. I feed the stems to my chickens. They love them. I think there's medicinal value. I forget what it is to these. And then I chop these off right about here and put them in my windowsill for, I will never ever have to buy. I planted so much this year and I didn't have any gophers, knock on wood, that I will never ever have to buy zinnia seeds again. I have given paper lunch bags full and I just leave them like this, and I tell people just to crumble them in wherever they're planting. So yeah, it is a wonderful gift that keeps on giving. Okay, so we got that taken care of. I'm really tickled pink. I'm debating on if I want to take out my amaranth. I know I've got some limbs I need to trim off. The chickens love this stuff, and the seeds are dropping everywhere, so I know that I will have 10,000 million volunteers in the spring. So I think I'll leave that one there. And then we're going to turn around and go over to the other side of my tomatillo bed. And see now, look at this. They were crowding out my bell peppers, and now I've got bell peppers coming on. I've got new blooms coming on to the bell peppers. And down in here, ooh, look at this. It's like Christmas time. Some peppercini peppers. So I think now that all that stuff is trimmed back, I mean, this was just loaded through here. You couldn't even see through this trellis. And there's a couple of bell peppers on, all of these plants have bell peppers now, and they did not before because they just didn't have room. So that's a good thing. So I'm going to harvest all these tomatillos. Now we have the other side of my cherry tomato wall, and we are going to pick the ones that have started to blush from here. So there's quite a few there. I've got more, so I'm going to grab the rest of them. Now we got to harvest our ever-bearing calendula. Every time I'm out here, these guys give me several gifts. Oh, I just cannot wait to make my salve out of this stuff. It just smells heavenly. So I think I'm going to cut my dill off at the base. It's spent. And we'll just cut these guys up. Put them back in the beds. There we go. I think I have another one in here somewhere that needs the same type of thing done. My lettuce, I got to give you an update on that. My lettuce seed is still got little flowers popping up. That's on the speckled, freckled, speckled, whatever you want to call it, lettuce. And so I'm going to leave that one. But there's one over there, I think, that is ready to harvest, and possibly two. I'm not really sure. I need to read up on that. And then I'm going to grab some of this amaranth for my chickens. It's growing over into the... See this? This is just crazy. This is all these little red things that are turning tan are seeds. So I'm going to have 10,000 million of these in the spring. All right, now I'm trimming up this lemon cucumber. It's kind of giving up the ghost a little bit. So I'm just trimming. I know there's still blooms on them. Trimming up all this stuff is growing out into the bed. Even had a little baby cucumber on there. I feel kind of bad about that, but it's far and few between it's producing, so just trim that up. I'm not going to cut him all the way out of there. He still has some stuff growing. I got another cucumber. Oh my word, wait till you see this one. This guy's the size of a zucchini. Chicken food. I'll set that right there. All right, I'm going to finish this, then I'm going to move down to the other squash. Here's a nice edible lemon cucumber. All right, guys, it's starting to get kind of warm out here, and I have taken out everything that I can take out so far, and it did free up quite a bit of space. So I do want to show you how much stuff I got. It's kind of crazy, but keep in mind that the squashes, I guess, have taken up a lot of room. That big bucket on the bottom is probably like a 3-gallon bucket full of melons and produce. Then when I ran out of room, I've got all of this stuff right here. And tomatoes, cucumbers, chicken cucumbers. And so I'm going to have to take the bucket up, dump it, and come get some more. I hope the sun is shining where you are, and I hope it doesn't get too hot. It's kind of warm up here. It was 105 when I went down to Redding yesterday, and it's getting warm here already. So it's supposed to cool off again next week, but I'm kind of glad for the heat because my peppers really need it. They're starting to do much better. But anywho, I hope the sun is shining where you are. Thank you so much for watching, subscribing, sharing, commenting, and liking. That helps my page grow. I need one more person to follow and I'll be at 200. I just started in mid-April, so I feel like that's pretty good. I'm still taken aback by how many people actually want to watch my channel, so that makes me happy. I hope people are learning things and enjoying themselves. And I will talk to you guys next time. Bye-bye.